has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Along with Carver, I'm Ferrall in New York on Coast to Coast on a Misery Monday, and we're talking about the Pain Day games from Sunday in the NFL, and now we talk about the New York Football Giants.
We do talk about the New York Football Giants to start hour number 2 here, Scotty, on C2C. Of course, the Giants yesterday, a little bit more of a spirited effort than they had at home against the Vikings in Week 1, but they do lose 21-18 to the Commanders. Of course, the storyline in this game was, Sky, the Giants didn't have a kicker. Now, look, I've seen some mathematicians out there who have tried to explain that the Giants would have lost anyway. It would have been 21-20. It would have been this. They would have, do all the math you want. Bottom line was they scored 3 touchdowns, and they couldn't kick an extra point after any of them, okay? And they had another situation at the end of the game where they were down in field goal range, right, Scotty, when Neighbors dropped that ball, that they probably would have kicked a field goal there if they would have had a field goal kicker. So you can do all the math in your head that you want. Bottom line is they screwed up. Now, they added Gano to the injury report on Saturday with a groin injury. Dable went with it anyway, and then I guess he got hurt on the opening kickoff chasing down Austin Eckler all the way down the field. So the Giants had no kicker for the rest of the game. He said, "What do you want me to do?" I didn't know he was going to get hurt chasing the guy coming back. He got hurt the day before, Brian. You probably should have elevated the backup kicker that you have on the practice squad. But this is the one that's making the rounds the most, Scotty. So later in the press conference, Brian Dable gets asked about his job security after an 0-2 start and things not going very well. Let's just say he quickly answers Pat Leonard from the New York Daily News and then proceeds to stare at him for about 15 seconds afterwards. Here's Brian Dable.
Brian, are you concerned about your job if the results don't change here?
Yeah, I mean, I've done this for a long time, Pat. My focus is on our football team.
Now I probably should have let Nick know a little bit more. That goes on, Scotty, and he probably cut it after he finished talking. He doesn't answer the next question and just keeps staring at Pat after he asked it like a big tough guy. How dare you ask me about my job security when my team sucks? Okay, that's the bottom line.
Listen, I'm sure that his wife thinks he looks fantastic after he's been shooting that Ozempic in his big fat belly and lost all that weight. But he's all of about 5'8" and 175 pounds soaking wet. No one's afraid of him. No one. Like, honestly, like I told you before, Mavi and I, we were talking to some guy the other day. He's 6'5", 250, 6'4", 240. Like, I'm not afraid of little Brian Dable. And you can quote me on that. Like, I will truck him. Like, Pat Leonard's not afraid of him. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Brian? Beat him up? You stare him down? You're going to beat him up? You're a tough guy, coach? Is that what it is? I mean, bro, your wife's bigger than you. Honestly, like, calm down. Like, no one's afraid of you, bro. You're losing every week. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. Let's get the rap sheet out. If you're going to fire someone, like Mara's going to fire him eventually, let's keep incidents like this as checkpoints. Like the day you didn't have a kicker, what were you thinking? Check.
Right. And that's really the main thing here is that you put your team in a situation which hurt them. And it hurt them big time. And I thought, Scotty, I thought Jones didn't play bad yesterday. I thought Daniel Jones played well for the Giants yesterday. He gave them a chance to win the football game. Their defense was pathetic again. Like it was the week before against Minnesota.
They lost to the commodes.
They lost, exactly. And they didn't even give up listen, they didn't give a touchdown. It was they kicked field goals all day. Well, the guy kicked 7 field goals on Washington. Never. But can you make a stop once in a while? I mean, you let him go down the field every single possession and kick a field goal? But Neighbors was good, too.
They are
even
not
though he dropped
legit,
that ball,
Mike. They are not legit at all. And the Jets are. That's just all there is to it. They have a quarterback and they have a defense. That's all that matters. I don't even think the Jets have a coach, but they got a good quarterback and they got a defense, and that's all you need in the NFL. Like I said previously, just so we're clear, These guys at this level don't listen to anybody. They don't listen to Robert Saleh. They don't listen to Brian Dable. They all think they listen to him. But I know how many players. I'm friends with hundreds of players. They've told me over the years, I don't listen. I listen to zeros on my paycheck. That's who I listen to. When you get to this level, you don't listen to little Coach Brian yelling at you. And listen, the Jets can win with Aaron Rodgers and that defense. They don't have to listen to anybody. Just, they have so much talent. Go out and do it. The Giants have one player on the whole team, Neighbors. That's it. I mean, Thibodeau, they got him. And what has he done for the Giants besides, nothing?
I haven't seen much of Thibodeau or Burns. What did they give up for Burns? Tons of stuff for Burns in the offseason.
Everything.
Has he played in the first two games for the Giants? I haven't seen him out there. Last note on this game.
Maybe that was the only thing that the Panthers have gotten right, that they got rid of him.
Giants are the first team in NFL history to score 3 or more touchdowns and allow 0 touchdowns and lose in regulation. So there's another check mark for you on that one. Next, really good game in Detroit, and like the Saints, the Bucs are now 2-0 in the NFC South to start the season. 20-16, Bucs go to Detroit and get the win over the Lions, where they lost in the playoffs last year. Big effort from Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneer defense. Here's Dan Campbell, Scotty, afterwards. He says, "Don't blame the players, blame me."
I asked for improvement from last week, was the story. And we did improve. And their coach cost them. Their head coach cost them this one. So, critical error into half. And 100% on me. We improved. There's areas we got to continue to improve on, but it's not okay.
Listen, I am one to, I told you, they'll never recover from the Niner game. And all this talk of them winning it all and going to the Super Bowl and everything else. And Friday I was in Vegas with you. I said, give me the Buccaneers. Same thing with the Vikings. Give me the Vikings. And it goes on and on. Just because you were great last year and you choked away the game of your life and you're going to come back and get even with everyone and win every game? Oh, wasn't that beautiful watching them lose yesterday? Honestly, I hope they lose every week. I don't care what anyone there thinks of me. I give a rat's ass. I love watching teams that just think it's going to be gifted to them because they were good last year. Oh, we're going to come back. Is there anything funnier than listening to players that say, we'll be back. We'll be back in this game. Sure you will. Sure you will.
Yeah.
Have the Falcons ever been back from the Super Bowl? No. The Lions have guaranteed they're going to the Super Bowl. And they'll be going with you and I, scalping tickets down on Bourbon Street.
Look, he obviously cost them points before the half, made some questionable decisions. I think he did the same thing, kind of clock management stuff near the end of the game with a chance to get the football back with some more time. So, those are the things that by now, remember, Sky, that's rookie head coach type of stuff, right? Clock management stuff and situations like that. That's mistakes that first-year guys make. When you're in your fourth year and you're supposed to be a Super Bowl favorite, or as everybody likes to run around and tell you, you can't make the mistakes like that, like the ones that Campbell was making in that game yesterday. That's for sure. So the Lions go to 1-1. Bucs now 2-0 to get things going. All right,
do you honestly, yes. I'm going to ask you, do you think they're really that good?
Look, I don't think the NFC is as good as the AFC.
16-point day yesterday. Are they that good?
No, I think the Bucs are a little bit better than people thought. I think they're one of the 5 best teams in the NFC, but I don't think they're the best team in the NFC by a long shot. No, I don't believe that. I think they're one of the better teams in a weak conference.
Anyone knows who the best team in the NFC is after 2 weeks. No one has a clue. And, I'll give you this. Now, Philly won in Brazil against a team that everyone thought was a Super Bowl darling, Love and the Packers. Well, Love's done. We'll see if the Packers are, but everyone thought the Niners, and they got their ass beat.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
To be on SportsGrid, everybody knows that. Did you know you can get the SportsGrid app for free on iOS and Android? It's unbelievable. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High, and you get everything on this thing, including in-game odds, highlights, scores, you name it, stories. How about you can watch the network on the app and listen to the network on the app? And I've mentioned it's free. It really is phenomenal. You got to repeat it again. It's free just for the edification of all others. Get the SportsGrid app and get rolling with SportsGrid so you can be like the cool kids. The Vikings are cool. How about them getting it done at the bank? Open on Sundays, apparently, in Minneapolis.
It certainly was yesterday, Scotty. 23-17. Vikings beat the big bad 49ers at home. Of course, Sam Darnold was the Niner backup last year. Now he is the starter for the Vikings. And he said hello to his old team in a big way, Scotty. How about a 97-yarder to Justin Jefferson on CBS, the great Kevin Harlan?
The Viking defense, second down 9. Darnold getting messy, going deep, and he's got Jefferson. He's got Jefferson. It's a foot race downfield with Brown. Shifting gears, getting a block. That's 6. 97 yards! Holy smokes!
Yeah, I know you're going to talk about his quad, and I'll tell you, we've had this conversation before as well. You have a quad problem, I'd be very leery of making guarantees. I've had it, the torn quad. I got a quad problem right now from playing basketball, and I mean, it is crippling. I'm telling you, the pain that the quad causes is unnerving. And this guy's saying, don't worry, I'm going to play. I'm not going to miss any time and this and that. That's great. Fantastic. Until you have to start running 25 miles an hour, which is what he does. And I am telling you, I do not trust anyone with a quad problem with all of their prognostications and everything else. Everybody yaps about how, don't worry, I'm fine. I don't believe that. I think this is of concern for them, and it was a huge win. Darnold's been great, but I'd be very leery about Justin as the team doctor.
I would be very leery about it as well. Nobody likes to hear that. Remember, he missed a good portion of last year as well
Yeah, like the whole
Scotty,
season.
too. So he's had some big injury issues, has Jefferson. Let's hear from Kevin O'Connell here, Viking head coach. Of course, Sam Darnold has done a great job the first 2 weeks for the Vikings. O'Connell, so proud of his quarterback, Scott.
So proud.
I'd like to finish with Sam Darnold against his former team. Just the amount of work that goes into that position on your quarterback journey when everybody decides that you cannot play. We always believed in him, and felt awesome to watch him go do that thing. So I'm really proud of Sam Darnold.
You've always had
wait
my
a
back.
second here.
You've always been
wait
there
a
for
second.
me. I love you.
Very proud of him. We've always had his back. They had his back so much that after they signed him, they drafted J.J. McCarthy with their first pick in the draft. That's how much they had his back. That they had. Who do you think would be playing probably right now if he didn't get hurt?
That says it all.
In the preseason. Who do you think it would be, Scotty? Would it be Sam? Maybe it would have been Sam to start, but they drafted J.J. McCarthy to be the quarterback of this team. What Sam's doing is cool, and I think you're seeing that. It's kind of like you were talking about earlier with coaching and with Caleb Williams. Like some of these guys who flame out at certain places, sometimes it's because they get put in awful situations when they're first drafted. Like, where did Sam Darnold get drafted to? The Jets. And look at what he dealt with there, being with that team. So, you move on and you finally get your hands on someone who's a little bit better with some quarterbacks. And like Kyle Shanahan and like Kevin O'Connell. And suddenly you're an all-pro again, Scotty. Sometimes it's funny how that works.
I'll give that guy Mason credit. He had 100 yards and a tutty, and he showed up again. He's had 247 yards in 2 games, $147 and 2 tutties in their opener, and then this one he showed up, and really nobody else did.
Nobody else did indeed, and he's going to have to keep showing up, Scotty, because the Niners did put Christian McCaffrey on the IR. He will miss at least 4 games. So that was, of course, yesterday and the next 3 at a minimum. Man, they sandbagged everyone with that injury. God bless if you unfortunately had to take Christian McCaffrey like I did in 2 leagues with your first overall pick. The Chargers beat the Panthers 26-3. So the Chargers off to a 2-0 start under Harbaugh, Scotty. And the Panthers have been so miserable through the first 2 weeks that today Dave Canales pulled the plug on Bryce Young. Andy Dalton is going to start this week at Vegas, going to change things up, give him a best chance to win. And Bryce Young to the bench, Scotty. Will we ever see him again? We shall see.
Well, I think you will see him again at some point. They paid him a ton of money. He's the number 1 pick in the NFL draft last year, and they obviously are, at this point, getting schooled on that pick. And then Stroud has shown him up, and everyone said, Bryce Young's better than Stroud. I never believed that for 1 minute. I thought Stroud was better. I think what you saw from my end was that Alabama made Bryce Young look good in Tuscaloosa and in the SEC, and Stroud was actually a badass himself at Columbus, and he has carried that into the NFL. He's a much better player than Bryce Young. Bryce Young so far has been an utter disappointment and failure.
He certainly has, and man, did they give up so much to get him. They gave up a boatload. They gave up the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft as well to get him. That is amazing. So the Panthers 0-2 out to Vegas with Andy Dutch Dalton in tow. All right, we will come back, and I'll save Trevor Lawrence till we come back, Scotty, because of course the Jags lost at home to the Browns 18-13. The Jags have looked pathetic through the first 2 games of the year. And did you know, Scotty, Lawrence now longest losing streak in the NFL. They have not won since last year, Thanksgiving weekend. They finished last year horribly, and now they have started this year horribly, 0-2, as they head to Buffalo this Monday night to try to not go 0-3. So that's a tough loss. I hope so. I hope that's a loss for them in Buffalo on Monday night. We'll hear from them when we come back and finish the rest of the games.
And how about all the Achilles problems with the Jets?
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Trevor, I think that, Monday night, it's a dangerous commodity you're dealing with in Jacksonville. I think all those teams that are 0-2 are desperate to win, and that makes them more, dangerous, if you will, going into that game against the Bills, getting 5.5 at the very least on the betting side. That's a lot of points to give an 0-2 desperate team.
I agree with you. It does scare me a lot, especially with the Bills being 2-0 to start their year, and maybe not as much pressure on them on the flip side, right? Because they've already gotten out to a nice start. I think I'd feel even more strongly about it if it was a Sunday at 1 o'clock game. But I think being prime time under the lights, which those maniacs in Buffalo, they love having, and they don't get many of them, I think maybe that tips the scales a little bit. I'm hoping, Scotty. That's the only thing I can hang my hat on. Because I do agree with you. These 0-2 teams are going to be super desperate this week, especially ones that are decent or supposed to be decent, like the Jaguars. Here's Trevor Lawrence. Doesn't sound like he feels his team's decent at all right now, Scotty.
Trevor, how stunned are you by the offensive performance in the last 6 quarters?
Yeah, I mean, we suck right now, so I don't. Pretty shocked. Obviously we had a great offseason, great training camp, and we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. What else is there to say?
There really isn't. We suck right now. At least he said it right. The Jets beat the Titans 24-17 down in Smashville. Jets did get out to a bit of a slow start in this one, Scotty, but they can thank that Will Levis is the quarterback for the Titans because he stinks, and they can thank that not only do they have Breece Hall, but this, their rookie running back out of Wisconsin, Braylon Allen, what a day for him, Scotty. Not 1, but 2 touchdowns, including the one that put them ahead for good on CBS.
Give it to him. Allen cuts it to the outside. He's gone. Touchdown, Jets. Braylon Allen, first rushing touchdown of his NFL career, and his second score of the day. Jets go in front.
Was that the Birdman right there? I think it was.
Birdman. That was him down in Nashville. Look, I didn't think Rodgers was great, Sky, but he didn't have to be. I think he just did everything that they needed to. They ran the ball. Their D played great. Levis stinks, and they did what they were supposed to. Go down to Nashville and get a win.
Yeah, look, I'd say their only problem is they've lost an edge rusher to an Achilles tear, and the best player on the team is still nowhere to be seen. All the more reason I think he gets even more leverage now in the fact that they've lost Johnson, their pass rusher, and they got to get Reddick in there and get a deal done. Otherwise, it's going to come back to haunt him. I mean, is this guy really is Joe Douglas really going to play this game for the whole season? Is he going to let Hassan Reddick never play for the Jets? Is that his plan? Because I think that's a fruitless endeavor.
It certainly sounds like that. Jermaine Johnson, torn Achilles, done for the season. As you just said, lots of leverage for Reddick now to get some kind of a deal done with the Jets. All right, a few of these other ones. Seahawks beat the Pats 23-20 in overtime. I think I said to you on Friday, I thought that hook was a little scary with the 3.5. Wasn't sure the Patriots would win, but sure enough, they gave you another big effort, got the game to overtime. Didn't win, Scotty, but that was a cover.
That was a cover, and they might very well cover again this Thursday night. I mean, that game to me, Morency said we got that on Thursday night to look forward to, and I think he was joking, but I think that they're going to show up for that game. I mean, they've obviously shown up for both of their games, and they won one, they lost one, and they lost in overtime. They have been better. You have to be scared to death of that 4.5 under on the sheet of integrity because they've looked way better than anybody thought they would. I think Mayo's done a job getting them ready for games. And if you don't commit a lot of errors with turnovers and penalties, I think in this league you can be in any game with any type of team.
It's 6.5 right now for Thursday night.
Too many
by the way,
points.
the first game of Week 3. Patriots at MetLife, home opener for the Jets under the lights. That sounds like a lot of points with the way the Patriots have played so far. I thought that Matt LaFleur's game plan yesterday, Scotty, was outstanding. He saw the Colts give up 250 yards rushing to the Texans the week before and said, I'm just not going to throw. I'm going to run Jacobs, Willis, Reed on sweeps, and he ran the ball down the Colts' throat, and he got him an improbable win without Love.
Another game that I hit on Friday was Packers at Lambeau getting points, a home dog in Green Bay. You got to be kidding me. I don't care who the quarterback is.
I was stunned, but great job by LaFleur, for sure. Packers 1-1 now. We'll come back and finish them up after this.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
SWAT champions
do.
All right, so we're still mowing through Pain Day, Skinny.
We are. In fact, I only have one more game left for you from Sunday, and that was the Cardinals, and I was very surprised, absolutely destroy the Rams on Sunday, Scotty. 41-10. Arizona going off, specifically Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first quarter of the game. They went nuts. He, of course, scored on the opening drive. And then on their second possession, Scotty, up top again. Second tutty for him on Fox.
Fake to Connor. Murray on the rollout. Looking deep for Harrison. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the end zone. Touchdown again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all at this guy's skills. And the other guy that stood out to me in that game was Connor. I thought he was just dynamic for them, and he's been that way, really. I think he's been their best player, despite some lean years out in Arizona with wins. They don't win a lot, but I think Connor's been great. He was great yesterday.
He's been, you're right, even though they've sucked the last few years, he's been productive for them since coming over from the Steelers. That's one of the, he's been very good out in Arizona for the Cardinals. More bad news for the Rams, who already don't have puka shells. Already are missing some pieces on the offensive line. Well, now Cooper Kupp in a walking boot leaving the game yesterday, Scotty. He's got an ankle injury, so things are starting to stack up a little bit for Sean McVay and the Rams in the early portion of this season. Not a good thing, as they are now not out to a great start, that's for sure. 0-2 for them. Dolphins sign, of course, the Dolphins have quarterback issues. Tua is going to be out for a while with the concussion. Tyler Huntley, of course, Raven quarterback, he's been on their practice squad, which means they could sign him and put him on their regular roster, which the Dolphins are going to do today, Scotty. Tyler Snoop Huntley. That'll be the answer for them. It'll probably be Skylar Thompson this week, and then they'll get Snoop Huntley acclimated to their offense.
I got to be honest with you. I think it might be a better decision than Ryan Tannehill, who, in my opinion, is shot.
I think it's a better decision than Skylar Thompson, too, who they've been running around with for the last couple of years. Huntley can move around a little bit, Scotty, and he can throw. He's been there with Harbaugh and underneath Lamar for the last few years. That would not be a bad thing for me if they can get it cooking. All right, underdogs for this week. I told you that they've been barking, and man, have they. 10-4-1 ATS in week 2. As that leads us into tonight's game with Atlanta being dogs. 10-4-1, Sky, with a lot of outright dogs winning as well.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I would absolutely do a gainer if the Falcons covered tonight or won. Either or, I'm pulling for them tonight, and I don't care what anyone thinks. Like, that doesn't mean that I have the stones to bet it, but I'm praying for it. I hope it happens. Everything else has happened. It would be 11-4-1 for the week with dogs. So let's see if they can get involved tonight in this game in Philly.
Yes, let's start talking about that by hearing from the Atlanta head coach, Raheem Morris. Of course, Kirk Cousins in the offense, not very good in week number 1 against the Steelers at home. He is looking for a lot more here on Monday night in week number 2.
There's not going to be a big change in Kirk's process, right? Because, like, he's been doing it for so long. He has a way he wants to do things, right? We did not have a good game. He did not have a good game. We were very clear about that. There was no sugarcoating it. And I think that's what men do, right? He steps up to the challenge. He accepts it like we all do, right? My fault that I played in that, the fault that Zach played in, the fault that he played in, the fault that people around him played in it. There was no blame game. And I just know what he's going to go do today, right? He's going to bring the urgency. He's going to bring everything he has to do in order to play better, to find a way to get that thing to the results that we want. And I got all the confidence in the world in him because of who he is.
Okay, well then let's see it.
Let's see it indeed tonight, as they will be at the link. 5.5, 45.5. Remember this as well, Scotty. No A.J. Brown for the Eagles tonight. He is out for this game.
So you said you want to see a ton of points in this game, a lot of points. What's the difference? I would like to see that as well. But if there's no A.J. Brown, so that takes a piece of the Eagles' offense away, a massive chunk of it, if you ask me. We'll see what they can do without him. And then Atlanta looked terrible against Pittsburgh. They have to be better than that. I mean, can they give you on the road at the Link in Philly, can they give you 21? Can they give you 3 tutties and a field goal? Can they get you there and see what the Eagles won't be shut out at home. That's not going to happen. But how do you get to that number?
Yeah, I think you're going to need 20 from the Falcons to get there. I think that's a bare minimum for this game. I think it's a 27-20, 28-21. I think it's in that ballpark. I think the Eagles are going to
score 27. We're going to win the game. We, as in, we both want them to win, correct? Like, you want them to win, right? You don't want Philly to win.
I'm leaning to taking the points with the Falcons tonight, yeah. And I would never want to
27 and a win.
So
27 and a win.
So let 27-24 Falcons. I mean, somewhere in that ballpark.
And then a little post-game violence in the parking lot at the Link.
I was falling asleep last night with that Texan Bear game. So it's like when that's the last game you've got in your system. Like, you need the next game to be good. Like, I want to see some points tonight. Let's go here. Let's get some excitement and get some tutties. What was there? 2 touchdowns in the game last night? Come on, let's go. Give me 4 or 5 tonight. Let it fly a little bit here. Let's go. I always love giving you numbers. Here we go. Jalen Hurts against the spread at home in primetime. 8-1-1. That's the other side of the coin. That doesn't help us. We don't like those numbers. Those numbers aren't good for us. 8-1-1. He is at home in prime time.
A horrific trend right there for
prospect. That's okay. That's okay. Most bet player props for tonight. Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions. Bijan Robinson over his rushing yards. Devonta Smith over his receiving yards. Barkley over his receiving yards. And Barkley over his rushing at 75.5. The most bet player props.
Well, I already bet Barkley under, and I think it was 77 when I bet it. And then I like Smith over without A.J. Brown out there. I like that number. And then I'm not touching any of that other nonsense.
There you go. And finally, we'll end with the tutties for tonight. Now, look, we hit the first tutty Thursday night. I like the first tutties in the primetime game. And I actually had Nico Collins last night too, Scotty. I know obviously we not chatted over the weekend. But so first tutties have been all right. My slate from yesterday wasn't good, but the first tutties have been saving us. No A.J. Brown tonight. Everybody's on Barkley with the first touchdown because he had 3 last week. We'll go to Devonta Smith. We'll go up top, plus 950. First touchdown scorer for him. I'm going to go to Drake London with the Falcons at plus 240. Nice number for their top option. And Jahan Dotson, Scotty, is now the second guy. I mean, that's it. Last week, Smith and A.J. Brown were really the only wide receivers on the field. Dotson had the 3rd most amount of snaps. He's going to be out there pretty much every snap tonight. I think he's going to get some burn. Pretty good number for a guy who's going to be on the field for almost all the Eagles' offensive plays. Give me Dotson at 380.
Yeah, I have no problem with those bets, and I think they make sense with the accommodations. They got this guy out, so you got to play him. You got to give him burn. You got to throw to him. And they're going to be all over their other receivers. So they got to shut somebody down. I think that opens the door for him to make plays, like you said. So I'm all for it. I like those picks. And I like that first one in particular. I mean, this guy stands out to me like a sore thumb for that 950. Boy, would that be fabulous if you get almost a dime off of this guy scoring the first tutty of this game. I'll pull my pants down. I'll start running down the street.
We did it with Cook Thursday night. He was a dime at 10-1. So hopefully we can get it with Devonta Smith tonight as well here for the touchdown.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, Coach James Young is our hoop analyst extraordinaire on SportsGrid and on Coast to Coast. He's always in the gym, but then again, who isn't? I was in the gym today, knocking it down per usual, but not like Caitlin Clark yesterday, Coach, with a 35 burger. And the only time I've had 35, I had 36, and I lost the game. And my son told me I suck when you lose. But she won that game by one, and she's something else. Let's see. Assist record in the WNBA all time, and a 35 burger. I mean, she is a savage bee.
She's a savage bee, and Ferrall, always a pleasure to be on with you. And listen, she has gone on an absolute heater since coming back from the Olympic break. And I think this is what I try to explain to people is the break that she needed to kind of get going. So you kind of look at what she's done. Ferrall, since the Olympic break, the least amount of points that she's had is 18. She's got 20 or more in the majority of the games. She's gotten 8 to 9 assists almost every night, a bunch of rebounds. Ferrall, I said on my podcast last week, I thought that I said it last week, Caitlin Clark is the third best player in the WNBA. It's Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Caitlin Clark. They will not, and Carver High and I were talking during the break. I know they will not give it to her because of the season Asia Wilson has, over 1,000 points, broke the scoring record. But if this lady was not on Indiana Fever, where would they be? I mean, where would this team be? She's spearheaded this team that lost, their first 5 or 6 games to the number 6 seed. And I will say this right now. If they draw Connecticut in the first round, Ferrall, even as underdogs, I'm taking them to win this series because she is playing that good of basketball.
Well, look, I respect everything you say always with hoops in regards to that, but I think they'd be basically Dallas or LA without her. They'd be 7 to 9 wins. I think, for my money, and I hate to dispute, but I would say for my money, the Connecticut defense still to me is superior to anything that I've seen from the Fever. And I mean, when it's playoff time, they're going to ratchet it up, and they already have a great defense that we've seen, you've seen. I think they can cause problems if they were to play them, whatever it is. But the fact that they're a 6 is all because of her. Now, I think Aaliyah is a really good player, and I think she's even better because of this girl. Clark has made her a way better player than we ever have seen her at the pro level. You've seen her great in college, and she played on a team loaded with great players. She plays on this Indy team with crap players without her, and then with her, you see the magic they got on the floor together. All it takes is 2 really good players, and you got a team in this league.
Well, I'll push back a little bit, Ferrall, because you're forgetting the third piece of this puzzle, and that's Kelsey Mitchell, who has been on an absolute heater since the Olympic break. She has gone over 20 points in every game but one. She had 30 points. So between CC and her, they had 68 points. She had 6 threes. I'm going to say this right now. That top 3, 4 if you add Alyssa Smith, but that top 3 of Clark, of Mitchell, and of Boston is really, really good, Ferrall. And here's the reason why I think they have a chance against Connecticut. Number one, Ferrall, they have beaten Connecticut, I think, once or twice this year. Once, they've lost 3 games. 2 of the games were in that losing streak to start the season, including a 4-point loss. Scotty, they're playing a lot better basketball, and what is the one thing that Connecticut can't do? Shoot the 3. And when you got Mitchell and you got Clark, Ferrall, they're a heater away from stealing a game. I think they could be in a series versus Connecticut.
Well, my thing is, and I respect everything you're saying, and you certainly know more than I do, but I'll say this. When I look at all those teams at the top of that league, they all are better than Indy on the road. Mm-hmm. They all win a lot of games on the road, and Indy doesn't. And I think it's going to catch up with them in the playoffs. Connecticut wins on the road all the time. They have 27 wins. They got 14 road wins. I mean, what do you need to know? And the Fever don't win on the road. Now, those teams, all that win, I mean, even Vegas, let me ask you about them really quick. So the Fever can't beat them, and I hear about how they keep getting closer and closer. Fair enough. But in a series, I don't think they can beat them. Do you think that the Aces have just been lollygagging because they've won back-to-back titles, knowing that can they flick a switch and be as good as they want to be with Wilson in the postseason?
If you look at the back of the basketball card, the answer is yes. When you look at their play, it's really the play of Gray, of Young, and of Plum, particularly shooting the ball from 3. That is going to be the difference because, Scotty, the game is going to slow down. You know this. I know this. Half-court basketball, playoff time. They're going to crowd Asia Wilson's space. Those other 3 can go off. Ferrall, I know that the New York Liberty right now have the best record in the WNBA. But I've been telling people all season, watch out for Minnesota. They can defend. They have to arguably forget what she did in the Olympics. They may have the best coach in the world in Cheryl Reeve. And they got Nafisa Collier and Kayla McBride. And they went to New York. They beat New York again. And they won the series, if I got that right, and the Commissioner's Cup. That team's going to be dangerous, too. Got to watch out for Minnesota.
Well, they're both great at home. They're both 16-3 at home, and Minnesota's clearly, based on record, the second best team in the league, but they've beaten them, like you said. So those are teams, frankly, in my opinion, that Indy can't beat. And I think Vegas knows how to beat them. But those top-heavy teams are all really good, including Connecticut and, the champs, the 2-time champs. So I think it's going to be incredible to see what happens. Watching Clark, what she's done this year, not a surprise to you and I. This is the same girl that did this in the NCAA tournament, in the NCAA season the last few years at Iowa. This is who she is. She is a dominant, savage bee.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, Carver High, I have to start with this. As we get into college football, the thing that, I guess the two things that stood out to me the most over the weekend for college was LSU, how they got it done, but boy, did they have problems in Columbia. And, you know, I'm starting to wonder about, Brian Kelly's Tigers. I really am. They got it done, fair enough, but no one can be happy with the way they've looked. And then Arch Manning, the way he looked was absolutely sensational. I mean, that guy, if I were Ewers, I'd be very worried about ever playing again in Austin.
I think that's the thing that Texas fans obviously have been waiting to see now for just over a year. He didn't get on the field at all last year. And there was always that thought that if he ever did get on the field, if Ewers got hurt, that you would never see him again. And, man, he was – I know it was UTSA. I get it. He was sensational in that game. And how about even the running, Scotty? Like, that's not something that the Manning boys are known for, right? I mean, they're not known for running. He's scared for that 64-yard touchdown run, breaking ankles on his way to the end zone. That was unbelievable stuff from him. And you're right about LSU. They got real lucky, man. I mean, what do they have? 2 pick sixes called back, including that one down at the end zone that would have sealed it for South Carolina, and they called it back on a penalty. So Brian Kelly and the Tigers got very, very lucky there in Columbia on Saturday.
Against a bad team. Against a bad team. That's what stood out. So I know people think that LSU is going to be in the playoff because, you just hear LSU and it's automatic. But remember this game when you're thinking of this team. Like, so when they get to a level of, let's say they were to make the 12 and they play someone good, they're going to lose. I mean, they can barely beat a bad team. How are they going to beat a good team?
I know people think it's automatic, but I think people got to remember something here. I think there's already 4 teams in the SEC that are better than them. When you start talking about making the playoff, and it's Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss, and Georgia, right? I mean, I think those 4 teams are better than LSU. And I know Georgia didn't look good. We're going to talk about them right now. That was a hard-fought game they had with Kentucky on Saturday night. And you know where I'm going to go here. Stoops blew the game. You cannot punt that ball with 3.5 minutes left, Scotty. It was a 1-point game. He's moving a little bit, and I know they got stalled. You can't give the ball back to him there. You don't know if you're going to get back, and sure enough, they got it with no time left. I thought that was an awful decision by Stoops to punt the football with 3.5 minutes to go in the game. There's only long. Defense had done so much.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. There's nothing else to say about it. That was it right there. The other thing that stood out to me, and it was just fantastic for me, is watching Florida State lose again. I mean, this is twice, Mike, that Mike Norvell has been 0-3 in Tallahassee. And I got to tell you, the natives are getting restless.
They are absolutely getting restless. At the top of the next hour, I'm going to have some Norvell for you as well as a funny little end to his press conference.
Now, let me ask you.
Yes.
When LSU got their ass beat by Georgia, and then they could barely beat a crappy team, do you remember when they played their first game, South Carolina, their coach, he was like, we're awful. We're awful. And, they picked us 15th in the conference, and no one is giving us a chance. And then they give LSU nightmares in Columbia at Bryce. You got to be kidding me. So you play a good team, you get your ass beat. You play a bad team, and you get lucky, and you barely win. That's all I need to know about Brian Kelly and LSU. Brian Kelly, I repeat for the 50th time, should have never left Notre Dame. He is in a living hell job in Baton Rouge. He's doomed.
I don't disagree with you. And listen, it's not going to get any easier from now. They're playing UCLA this week. They're going to beat UCLA. They stink. They got destroyed. And we're going to get to Indiana. They got some juice. And they've only got one really tough game in conference, and that's the Ohio State game late in November. They're going to be alive in a lot of these games, but LSU's going to play Ole Miss. They're going to play Texas A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma. They're going to get to – they're not winning all those games. They're not good enough with what we've seen so far. They're going to have lost. They're not making a playoff. They've already got lost. They lost to USC. They're already down behind.
Oh, I meant USC when they got their ass beat by USC, not Georgia.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.